I was wondering if you can go over the raw, roux, royal.
Yeah, so these are something that I kind of think that we all kind of need to know. First of all, if any of this stuff is confusing to you, it just means you're with fusion. You're in the process of fusing, so. Ra and L are liquids. They are actually, it's R and L, the letters R and L, and they are the biggest prime movers in the English alphabet, and they are also reversible. They reverse each other all the time, and they are paradoxical. And you'll see that when you start looking at R's and L's in words, you'll start to see that the same root word has, not all the time, but oftentimes has a totally opposite meaning. So for example, actually, I'll turn it around. I think it's on this side. Yeah, okay, so, well, let's see, did I put it on here? Well, yeah, so anger, right? So if I replace the R with an L, it's angel. And they're not polar opposites, but you see that there's a different meaning. It's the same etymological root, the NGE. So the difference between, an angel and an angle is just switching the R's. And another good one is the word heal. I don't know if I put that on there. Yeah, so in order for us to heal, we have to learn how to hear, right? Whether it be someone's real constructive criticism in a helpful way or our own inner voice, like we have to learn how to hear. So it's just replacing the L with the R. This one kind of blows my mind. Rastafari, which comes out of Ethiopia, and Ethiopia was Egypt, so it's the bottom of the Nile. They're like one of the longest, maybe you might disagree because you're Armenian, but the oldest practicing Christians in the world. Okay, but they were pre-Christians, but now they're Orthodox Christians. They're basically practicing what they were before, only they said, okay, you want to call us Christian? We'll call us Christian. But Rastafari is a branch of Christianity. And the word Rastafari, when you break it down, well, Ra is the sun. STA refers to star. So star, like astro, aster is a star. Fari is just fa, is just father. Pa, fa, ta, all means father. And then, of course, I. So it's the father star I am. That's really what it's saying, right? And that's why they're so rootsy, because they know who they are. Fire, fear, and feel. We kind of went through that one already. Here's another one with R and L. So, to read and you switch the L, it's to lead. And then if you put a B in front of it, it's bread. And then back to star. So it's not a coincidence that the sun is also called the sun, like a male child is called the sun, because all this stuff comes from the sun, comes from light. All of our astrotheological religions revere the sun as God. If you haven't gotten there yet, you probably think I'm crazy, but you do enough theology study and you'll realize, they're all talking about the sun, always, right? And then there's other things too, the moon, but they're basically, all of our religions are astrotheological. So, Isis is where we get the word for, female. It's a female principle. That's where we get the word sister. Sister is just the Isis star, the cis star, right? And then you have a minister. Well, min is the root word for moon, and it also means small, but that's moon star, right? Which is also a monastery, moon star, monastery. Then we have pastor, which is pa, father star. He's the guy talking, right? Supposedly. Then you have a disaster, right? Well, dis means bad, so bad star. And astro, like the Astros, it means star. Minister, my star. Miss is just my Isis, basically. And then there's just other root words that come through a lot, like or. Or is the center of word. It's also the center of Lord. And then, of course, we get order out of word, and you can put a B, and you get border. And what or really refers to is all these things, like orderliness and lordship and the power of the word, but it really refers to gold coming from light. So it's kind of abstract to see this, but or and oro, like Montaña de Oro in Latin, is mountain of gold. And it also gets translated into AU, which is actually the chemical symbol for gold, but it's also where we get the word aura, which just means your light, which is gold, typically. So aura, it all means gold. And then, of course, this one's pretty easy. Atonement is just at one mentality, right? So ment means your mentality. Sorry if you guys can't see. It just means you're at one ment. Your mind is at oneness. This one's pretty cool. You know, the word laughter is what Isaac means in Hebrew. And what was I think I'm correct. Isaac was basically going to sacrifice his son in the biblical story, and then an angel came down, or an angle of light came down and said, no, you got it wrong. We're not asking you to kill your son. But his name was Laughter, right? But what was he going to do? He was going to slaughter his son. So it's just an S in front of laughter to get slaughter. And then, of course, if you have a daughter, which is full of laughter, it's just a D in front of that. So that's your daughter. And this one's really cool. Greed and agreed, right? We constantly think of agreeance as this great thing, but the root word of agreeance is a terrible thing. It's greed. Greed is pretty bad. A in the front of most words, definitely in Latin and Greek, is alpha privative, meaning it negates the meaning of the word behind it. So alpha privative means like, this means greed, this means not greed, right? Alpha privative means to negate. So like the word symmetrical, you say asymmetrical, it means not symmetrical. And then, I think I put it down here. I think. Oh yeah, so Anama, right? In Hinduism, they'll often refer to God as Anama. And Nama means name, and A means the negation of name. So no name, right? So the reason why they call God no name is because it's indescribable. It's this thing that you're not supposed to name. Why did they say you're not supposed to name it? Because they realize the power of speech. If you put a name on it, then you start to put it in a box, right? You start to break it up into parts, and then you're in a trap again. So this is why people fight, right? Everybody's fighting over the name of God, right? Just call it Anama.